G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Trewin. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it.
Welcome everyone. Today I'm interviewing Lesley Van Tuil, who is the GM of Brewlab, a great little brew pub based in Hobart in Tasmania, Australia, my hometown. So thanks for your time, Lesley.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now we've sort of been trying to organise this for a little while, so I've been looking forward to this. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah, and having been a recent student of our business transformation program, which I know has transformed your business and your approach, and moreover your roles changed to be able to better ability to delegate, which is fantastic. But today we're going to chat about destination marketing, which is based on your recent experiences the last 12 months or so, because your business is located in a place called Prince of Wales Bay in lovely Hobart. It's an industrial residential area. Probably about 7 k's from the city of Hobart, be fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not, and there's not a lot around it as far as other businesses and the like. So it is definitely a destination, and you've managed to do that really well.
Thank you.
So we're going to, share some of your insights. So to kick off, maybe for the context, as I said, you've been through the business transformation program. So I guess specifically, what are the main outcomes and benefits that you got out of the 16-week program, which can then sort of lead us in to talk about the destination marketing?
Sure. I think the main takeaways that I got from doing the program was learning about the power of delegation. Sounds like a cop-out answer, but it was something that kind of just really I took really seriously and looked at it in a different way, because it is such a powerful tool. I think that I started before the course, I was sort of in the trap of definitely running around doing a lot of things myself, like probably a lot of small business owners can relate to. Doing the course with Troy Trewin really helped me understand that I have a big support network around me, and it's about how to tap into that. So that was a really big eye-opening experience for me. I think getting that extra valuable time, deep work time, I was able to tap into this marketing area that I've never really I've never really had any experience in before doing marketing. So I've done a couple of little small sort of courses since after doing my course with Troy, and I've found that I've had more time and successes and wins in doing different campaigns, being able to run more events, doing different things that I never had the time to before.
Yeah, which is fantastic. So I gather from your experience and being able to delegate is then part of that is understanding your people and getting them in the right roles, which obviously you need. And to build confidence so you can delegate. So is there any sort of insights you can share around that aspect?
Yeah, I think we, from what we thought, what was sort of going to work for us here in terms of roles has completely changed to where we are now. Keeping in mind, though, that we have only been open for about 2.5 years. So we're still sort of figuring out what we sort of finished that phase now, but we're still relatively new. I learned a lot about the roles that we sort of had at the time. I guess they sort of became a little bit redundant, I suppose, and we realised what was more important for us. These roles sort of opened up, and it all sort of painted quite a clear picture of where we needed to be focusing our energy in these right people in the right roles.
Yeah, I guess as a startup as you were, a new destination, and there was nothing there before you. So that's got its challenges. And, again, from my experience, the first couple of years, it's really, in some ways, a rite of passage, isn't it, for running a business? It's just such learning curves. And
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and as you were doing, wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot of things, but there comes a time as you experience that, it's the old saying, you keep doing what doing, you keep getting the same results. You realise that's the case, and I guess went through the business transformation program and got the benefits. So the delegation piece, which was a big one, as you said, that's allowed you to then focus more on marketing. Um, so I guess what have you done with respect to marketing, and I guess in the context of being a destination venue?
I think that my achievements with marketing have been launching our email section where we can start to really focus on getting email addresses from our regular clients. I can use that data, and I've taught myself how to segment my lists in pushing out information to people where I want it to go in terms of our events out here, any sort of potential business opportunities, and that email marketing has been quite groundbreaking for us out here being a destination venue. We do a lot, with social media, I suppose, in terms of Facebook, Instagram, that sort of general marketing. But I've found that the email marketing directly impacts our business in a much more profound way than just the generic social media sort of posting.
Yeah, excellent. And I guess the email list that you're building is a great tool, I think, for most businesses. One, doesn't cost you anything to generate and to sort of certainly communicate to your email list. And so is there any sort of tips you can give our listeners as to how you got that information from your customers and they were happy to share?
We have a pretty dynamic booking platform out here. And so there's a little box that people can say to sign up to our mailing list, and that's sort of a direct result of getting these email addresses. We also have some QR codes dotted around the venues that say, would you like to scan to find out more information, join our mailing list, so on and so forth. I've also have a couple of events coming up where I've learnt to collaborate with different businesses. For example, a nice whiskey distillery here and us are going to do something really exciting in the future. As a result, to get people hooked, we can say, please join our mailing list, and you can find out some more information that way. And that's a sort of direct collaboration between a different company where I can absorb some of their lists and they can absorb some of mine.
Yeah, I think collaboration's a good one. I think with other businesses, other people, because I think from my experience, it's often overlooked sometimes. And certainly, 1+1 can equal 3 sometimes when you collaborate, so to speak. And obviously, the other thing about email marketing, you control the list, and it's not like your social media platforms or wherever where you can't control.
Yeah, that's true.
And as we know, Facebook and the like, they change their back end a fair bit. So, and the stats do show it's a lot more successful as a sales tool. So, and certainly you're experiencing that, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And so I think to have that energy at the moment that I can put towards this sort of direct marketing for a destination venue has been really paramount to our success this year.
Yeah. And for our listeners, I mean, you're a brew pub, but you've also got a room upstairs for functions. So that's obviously an important source of revenue for the business.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
How do you, I guess in the context of destinations, is there any tips that how you've sort of promoted that aspect of the business?
I think actually it's a good question. Promoted, probably not. And especially initially when we first started trading too, the focus for us here was really brewery based. Really, we're a brew pub. It was our initial brand and focus was around the beer. That quickly kind of evolved for us, especially in the last 12 months, around seeing this need and presence of community, I think, that has sort of taken over my marketing mind. And it has sort of helped me switch focus to go, actually, we do have these spaces and these rooms available. Let's do more for the community within. As a result, though, I think to answer your question, I haven't really directly marketed the use of this space intentionally, but these opportunities have certainly arisen from my shift of perspective. For example, some members of the community have recently said they would like to create a Christmas craft workshop session, running a couple of Sundays in the lead up to December. What a great idea, not something that I can say that I thought of and I marketed it, but it's things that have kind of been coming Brewlab's way organically. That then I take those ideas and I have the time to create an event around that, create some sort of poster, and then we shoot that out to our list, essentially. I think that I will be able to put more energy and thought into running campaigns to get people into using this space up here in a more commercial way, I suppose. But it's been amazing how just my shift of perspective has changed it. So we're getting these events up here more organically.
Yeah, that's great. Now, the aspect of, I guess, your community is a really great point for a venue that is located where you are. And I guess, again, it can be powerful. And it sounds like you're generating some great outcomes for the community and obviously for the business. And you just mentioned that recent Christmas example. But are there any, so in that context, are there any other sort of tips you can provide our listeners around leveraging the community, so to speak?
I think keeping really clear communication lines with people in your community is really important. Like you said before, specifically being a destination venue, people in the community want you to be there. In my example anyway, they really want us to be there. They come in and sit down and treat it like their home, like they're part of our business, which they are. And that's a really special gift. I think really focusing on that for any listeners there who have questions around this, I think being able to ask your community members, what is it that they want? That could be a great campaign for you to use to shoot out to your list and say, come to me with your ideas. Let's build this together. I think that sort of approach has been really, it's perceived really positively here in my experience.
Yeah, that's great. And I think as humans, we all have this sense of belonging. So I guess that's like you say, it's that sense of belonging in the local community to your venue. And it can be so powerful, isn't it? And not only obviously for your business, but just the community and the social fabric of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great in that you're actually providing, in some ways, a community service, which is fantastic.
I didn't think that I'd be here doing that, but I am, and I love it.
Yeah, no,
It's
great, isn't
definitely
it?
something that helps get all the other mundane things done. That it's a really positive driving force, and it makes me really proud of the journey that we've done in small businessship to sort of where we were then, where we thought we were going to be, to actually where we are now and what our drives are and what our focus is. It's shifted, but it's really special.
Yeah, that's great. And as far as your target market, I guess as a result of being a destination venue, I guess, who is your target market? And you mentioned obviously the local community somewhat. So who is your target market, and sort of how has that sort of, I guess, evolved over the first couple of years?
I think initially, to answer your question, our target market's really broad. We've got a really big demographic here, and it shifts every day. I would say around the 12 o'clock when we open, we have quite a feminine-led demographic of sort of 40 plus years old who like to come in for coffee and a glass of wine and sit with their girls. down here, in amongst the plants and the beautiful view in a destination venue, and that really ticks their box. We also then can see a strong shift at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon where it's just high vis central. It's tradies, it's the blokes, they're coming in with the boys and they're having beers, the ladies have gone, and it just shifts. And then 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock rolls around, and there's a lot of young families in the area, in the community, who come. We're a really kid-friendly and dog-friendly venue too. So there's plenty of family vibes happening sort of after 5. So we have a really broad demographic, which also really helps with, lots of things really, but tapping into your email marketing and segmenting that list. It's also really important that we're getting the right events or the right specials or the right band, out to the right demographic, because it is kind of tricky to keep up with. For example, I know like what the playlist that we might be playing at 12 o'clock for our ladies is not the same as what the tradies would want to hear after 3. So it does keep us busy.
That's fascinating. That's quite unique probably compared to a lot of hospitality venues.
Yeah.
And I guess there's good and bad. I guess from a marketing perspective, though, you mentioned segmenting your list with respect to your emails. So how do you do that? How have you gone about that as far as the communication piece?
We can tell things from when people make bookings, things like their gender and their age bracket. So we can segment in that way. That's probably that's a big one. The other way that we can do it as well is that we know if they've made a booking for a company, if it's a company like a corporate event, we can pulse different sort of corporate like room hire specials or something like that can go out that way. That's probably that's the easiest way we can kind of segment and target with our list. With social media, it shows us that females, I think it was 38-plus-year-old females are our biggest audience. For Instagram and Facebook as well, it's definitely a really female-led following for us, which I think proves that we have something special, that we've created an environment where being a brew pub in a destination zone actually makes females feel comfortable. And it's not a male-dominated brew pub, but also they're bringing the guys in with them as well, right? So you can keep both parties happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are one or more of these growth pillars standing in the way of you living the lifestyle you've signed up for? People, strategy, marketing, funding, or systems? We have a free ebook filled with actions and templates on each of these growth pillars. Download for free from our website, growasmallbusiness.com.
So your database of customers, I guess, what do you use? Have you got sort of a CRM platform, or how do you
we use ConvertKit for that. Yeah. Okay. I think they've just rebranded to Kit.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely use a platform, which is obviously important. But I think the big thing out of this conversation is, the email list is important. And I guess, even in a business and venue like yourself, where, you've got, like you said, you've got different, parts of your market coming and going, females, males and the like. But you can still, there's ways and means of getting the information, communicating to them, and which you've done. So I think that's for me, that's a big part of, has been a big part of your marketing, and notwithstanding the benefit you've got out of it. That'd be fair to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I feel really, I feel like we've changed a lot of how we operate and the way that we think because of the takeaway that I got from the Transform Your Performance course, which has led me to now shift my focus to this sort of marketing, and looking at the business from this perspective has been, a massive learning experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just to finish up, I guess with all that you put in place, has as far as the customer experience goes, I guess two questions. Has that, the way you've gone about delivering customer experience, has that changed as a result of, I guess, one, the focus on marketing? And what do you see as sort of your point of difference in that regard to, say, competitors?
I think our service style has remained unchanged. When we first started trading in our staff induction forms and any sort of training requirements for any staff coming on board, it's always that these people who are walking through the door have driven here as a destination venue. We need to make sure that they feel like they're at home and go out of your way to make them feel particularly comfortable. Giving really good, personable service is just the number one priority for me and my team. So I believe that has remained unchanged through my experiences on the back end here with marketing and the different sort of journey that I've gone on. It's still a focus downstairs. I think that might be the point of difference is we're just fiercely our products down here are fiercely Tasmanian. We're fiercely based around our community being a destination venue. And I just really relay to every single person on our team, back of house, front of house, kitchen hand, doesn't matter. You're walking through the venue, you have to stop and give someone a smile, say hello, get the door for them. These tiny little 1% things, I believe, make us that they're more successful than some of our competitors because we have this wholesome kind of community approach.
Yeah, no, it's great. Certainly goes a long way. So, look, it's always great chatting with you, Lesley, and thanks for sharing your insights that from your experience. I reckon our listeners will get a great deal out of it. And
thank you.
As you said before we started the chat, you and Dave, your partner, are going on a couple of weeks' leave shortly.
We are.
Which again, all that stuff you've been talking about and the things you've got from the business transformation program essentially have allowed you to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, this will be our first big, 2.5 week holiday, international travel away from our small business. So that's got to count for something, right?
Absolutely. So it's a great outcome. Awesome. You need to have your own life, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks again, Lesley.
Thanks, Mick.
We'd greatly appreciate you taking a couple of minutes to leave our podcast a review on iTunes. If you don't have an account, simply follow us on Spotify. You'll help other small business owners find the cast and valuable content our guests share.